Got another question for you. Anybody here wake up this morning thinking, boy, I'd really like to go jump out of an airplane today? Anybody? What? Okay. Let the record show there are no hands. And I will confess to not being surprised. But that thought occurred to me a few years ago. 7 years ago, when I was a junior in college, I had a chance to go to the... Okay, I'm seeing some looks here. What, you know? 7... Okay, all right, you got me. It wasn't 7 years ago. 17 years ago, when I was a junior in college, I had a chance to go to the Army's parachute training. She still doesn't buy it. No. All right. 37 years ago, when I was a junior in college, I had a chance to go to the Army's parachute training jump school down in Fort Benning, Georgia. Now, Fort Benning is in South Georgia. And if I told you I was in South Georgia, you're gonna appreciate this. You know, Anna spent some time down in Tennessee, down in the South. So I was down in South Georgia in August. And if I told you that, you would tell me that it was hot and humid, muggy, hard to breathe. Horrible, okay. That's a judgment call, you know, you're entitled to, yeah. So here I was. Now, jump school is a 3-week course. The first 2 weeks we'll call ground school. And the third week is reserved for jumping out of perfectly good airplanes. 5 times I jumped out of perfectly good airplanes. All I can say is I was young and I didn't learn as fast as some. Well, here's something you probably know about parachuting. When you have a parachute, you come down slower than if you don't. Yeah, that's kind of the point. But here's something you may not know. Even when you have that parachute, you can still hit the ground pretty hard. And if you're not in really good physical condition, you can be injured. So one of the things that jump masters work really hard on during those first 2 weeks is making sure everybody's in the best possible physical condition. So I did a lot of push-ups, a lot of sit-ups in that Georgia heat. Well, the last day of ground school, the jump masters showed up at the training ground first thing in the morning with a lesson that was going to be cloaked in physical conditioning. It really had nothing to do with the technical aspects of jumping out of airplanes. They were going to teach us just how good we could be. So they ordered us to fall in, airborne. Now, I got to tell you, airborne was kind of a joke. It was a meme for all of jump school. It didn't matter if they were talking to one person or an entire group. It was always airborne. So they addressed all of us, said, fall in, airborne, which meant stand at attention, line up in 3 columns, you know, in platoon formation, which we did. And then they announced, all right, airborne, now we're going to go for a 1 mile condition and run, forward, march. Double time, march. And we were off and running. And let's just say the jump masters established a brisk pace. But then they got faster. And then they got faster again. So by the time we got to the end of the course, we were at an absolute, lung-searing sprint. Really glad to see that finish line coming up. But that's when the other shoe dropped. Great job, airborne. Now we're going to go for another mile. Well, as soon as they said that, a bunch of the guys just dropped right out of the platoon to rest because they just knew. They couldn't go another mile. Not in that heat. Well, most of us managed to keep running, but we only had to go another 40 or 50 yards till the jump masters called us to a halt. Quick time, march. Platoon, halt. Fall out. Well, now as we're gasping and wheezing, trying to catch our breath, the jump master came around to the front of the platoon to deliver the lesson of the day. This is what he said. He said, all right, everyone, now you understand that if you believe you can keep going as long as you need to, you're probably right. And you also understand, if you believe you can't, as he pointed back at our friends who'd given up just a few yards short of the end. You're probably right about that too, airborne, because you see, it's always mind over matter. You can keep going as long as you need to. You just need to know you can. Do you know that you can Keep going as long as you need to find that way. Over, under, around, or through that challenge. Stand in between where you are and where you want to be. You know what Mother Teresa said about that? Mother Teresa said, God withholds himself from no one who perseveres. Those who are successful at restoring harmony when their worlds are out of tune are kind to people. And they are determined to persevere.